To Island Sky Astro, a podcast that inspires the present-day visionary to live their best life. Welcome, everyone. We are back. We are going to be talking about the Leo rising energy for March of 2023. I'm so excited to be here with everyone in the Leo energy space. We are going to be taking a look at what is happening with you guys. What is the overall pulse for the month for many of you? It is finances, protecting yourself, building financial backup. That's what I'm seeing when I'm taking a look at your chart. But before we dive further into that, if you're here for the first time, my name is Island Sky. I'm an astrologer and numerologist. I take a look at the charts for the upcoming weeks. Everything that I am doing on this channel is to give you a short-term sort of 3, 4, 5 weeks of a horoscope so that you can help yourself to understand what types of themes might be coming up for you. If you know your rising sign, that is the best way to listen, because it'll correspond to your chart more accordingly. But of course, you can always listen to your sun sign too and your moon sign. Sometimes we have a different connection to the way in which our chart is built out. It's not all very fixed. So if you want to listen to that, you are more than welcome to put a bigger reading together. Sometimes we need to hear that one thing to remind ourselves on the path that we're on, the things that we're doing, to kind of feel prepared, and wholesome. So that's what I'm doing here on the channel. If you like this type of vibe, I would love for you to hang out with me, subscribe. Now let's get back to the pulls of the month. For all of my Leo friends, we're going to pop up the chart. What is happening? Well, for March, the energy starts on February 20th. We're going to have a new moon in Pisces that is unfolding for you guys in your 8th house. What's the 8th house? The 8th house can mean many, many things, but for this month in particular, the way that I'm looking at this is that there is a really, truly a new beginning that is coming in, and an opportunity for you guys to build your finances in a different way, especially if they are shared with somebody else, or if you are maybe taking a look at kind of sharing yourself with somebody else in a space. If you don't have a particular relationship in your life where you guys are going to be committing to each other in a financial way, then this is going to be you just taking a look at the way in which you view money and how that actually impacts you on a much deeper level, on a much more psychological level. It can also oftentimes, talk to us just wanting to be more free. And finances sometimes tie into this, or monetary aspects or commitments that tie us into other people. So you can take a look at things from your past. It doesn't always have to be. Some of the energies just play out for the moment. The 8th house is a deeply penetrating house, it is very scorpionic. It is very just sort of an impactful kind of transit whenever we go through this, because our psychology is at level impacted by the themes that are coming up. So this new moon in Pisces is at 1 degree for you guys. What does that mean? Well, for many of you, this is you kind of taking a look at the definition of finances, but your faith with the finances, and how you can actually make this part of your life more realistic. But there is a part of you that is also maybe dreaming about having it a particular way, financially, especially, or commitment wise with your life or another person. And so your intimacy plays into this as well, and how well you actually are able to bring your own values, your own individuality with somebody else's together. This is maybe something that'll be on your mind. And also just another layer of this month, for some of you, what I see is that there is a whole new meaning to your life that is emerging, and you're starting to kind of get the sense for that. And it has to do with mortality as well. There is some theme of mortality that comes in here, because Pisces, this is a new beginning in your spiritual outlook. This is going to be a time where you start to realize that your values are beginning to change. And because your values are changing, you are in this place where you're starting to have a new fascination with your commitment or how you want financially to be in life. And then also as a result, how you want to back this aspect and make it a bit more maybe cushy, maybe more comfortable. There's a part of you that might feel like you have to have more financial backing. For many of you, I do see that there is some kind of ambition that is rising here to basically make sure that you're protecting yourself. These are the types of themes that I believe that the month of March of 2023 has in store for many of you, and how you can bring this aspect into your life and strengthen it. Because astrology is all about us, no matter what is happening, no matter what themes, about strengthening things in our life. And so you get this opportunity here to take a look at that. And that is what's so beautiful about this month. Now, all of these energies are going to start to play out where when you start to come into the first couple of weeks in March, one of the things that I believe that is going to happen here is that you're going to start to get this fascination with certain aspects of your life. And this fascination begins with conversations that you're having in relationships, okay? There is sort of an inspiration, a fascination, a new sort of emotional fixation that comes up through relationship dynamics, because there are some conversations that for many of you, I see you are going to have in a breath of fresh air, dealing though with some old or the current situation that you're in, looking at it and going, this is not the life that I want, or this is not the aspect of my life that I want to continue anymore. And relationships and partnerships and business partnerships, all of these tie into it. There is sort of a wanting to let things go and do them differently, and recommitting that is on the rise for many of you. And of course, this is an opportunity for you to restore balance. Many of you have been sort of rocked by, Uranus moving through your 10th house. It has definitely sort of rocked and continues to change the definition of what your legacy is going to be, how you want to show up in the world, how your interaction is with the world. You're learning a whole bunch of new ways of how to interact in your career. If you have any kind of goals within the career, if there's stuff that you're trying to, bring into your life career-wise, goals and ambitions that you have, this month there is a new mental energy that is on the rise, and it's coming with an opportunity to restore balance here, because Uranus is going to be in a square with Mercury, and Mercury is transiting through your 7th house during this particular pulse of this month. And so that is Mercury in relationships, having important conversations in regards to your career, because Uranus is in the 10th house. This has a lot to do with you feeling like, okay, I'm ready to fixate on new things. I'm ready to set some new kind of goals or ambitions, or it just comes up that there's something new that you're wanting to bring in, and there's a fixation on it. But there's also a very good sense of humor that comes back. Okay, so after a time of seriousness, there might be some humor that kind of comes back into your life, and this is going to be welcome during this time. Whenever we have an energy here where Mercury starts to come in with Uranus, but also Mercury will be in a trine at the pulse of this month. There is a Mercury-Mars trine at the time of the new moon that is happening. And where has been Mars? Mars has been in your 11th house for a long time. So there's a sense of humor that is coming back that you feel like maybe has not been there when it comes to conversations, especially with other people, groups of people, friends, or in general in your social life, or just kind of, networking with other people. A lot of you have been sort of, dealing with this aspect of your life. Let's talk about it. Mars has been in your 11th house since August of 2022. I can't believe I almost got stuck at 2020. That was really funny. 2022, Mars moved into this area of your chart, influencing the way in which you are perhaps showing up with other people, friends, groups. This can also be the house of future goals, and it can also be the house where you're taking a look at your social reputation or reputation in general, how you show up with other people. When you're interacting, there's a certain way in which you show up with other people, and there's sort of a reputation or what you're known for, how people view you. These are types of things that you could have been taking a look at. But in general, it's a house that can oftentimes deal with more a social aspect of our life. And so for you, Mars has been here since that time, and it's retrograded here, showing you that there are aspects in your social life with friends or with groups or your future goals that tie into groups or people that are like-minded that is changing. You are starting to notice many weird changes that people are going through. And some of these changes are maybe you were on the same page with certain people, and you're starting to see now you're no longer on the same page because that person is coming out all of a sudden saying they don't believe in certain, rules or certain things anymore, or certain aspects about whatever the common denominator was. You're now starting to realize they don't believe in that anymore, and just kind of comes out of left field, which I believe in a big picture point of view for many of you, what's happening this month is that you're starting to realize, it looks like that you're beginning to see that there's really no opinion for you to form on that quite yet, because you still have to let things kind of play out. And it's teaching you a lot about becoming more objective. And that is why I wrote objectivity here. You have to become a little bit more fair and kind of sort of recognizing that some people right now are going through what they're going through. At the same time, there's more that's coming with this particular conversation that we're engaging in. So the first 2 weeks, I think that you're starting to realize there has to be maybe some more objectivity. But then what comes up is that many of you could run into a situation when there is a particular square that's being formed, and that has to do with the Sun and Mars. Let's take a look at that in your chart. Okay. The Sun still will be transiting through Pisces in your 8th house. It's going to form a square to Mars, 26 degrees. This is going to unfold from March 15th until the 17th. And what is happening, during this time, and many of you could be feeling this energy actually ahead of time as well, because the aspects apply and then it starts to come apart. So pretty much the entire week. Okay. Let's say the 2nd and 3rd week of March. What is this all about? This is going to be a time where you may have to start to kind of stand up for yourself in a particular situation. And you have to become aware of what is happening with other people, why they are acting the way that they are, not so much figuring out why they're doing it. That might be something that's going to cross your mind, but really on how to protect yourself. This is going to come up very strongly. This kind of a square brings up an issue that maybe goes up against something that you're trying to build, and you are trusting that aspect of your life. But now out there is maybe somebody who's going up against what it is that you're doing. You could be running into some kind of arguments with people. The 11th house is a social house. You could also be in a place where you have to ask yourself, what are you willing to fight for? What are you willing to support? Especially if it is impacting your finances. There's sort of a fear that could come up here that something is impacting your finances or will impact your finances. And there is sort of a drive to protect this aspect. It is 20 degrees. So this is going to be a social, a very out there dealing with other people type of a degree. And it will ultimately add up to you having to make a decision during this week on how you want to stand up for yourself, what that all entails, and becoming a lot more fair and asking the other person to be fair as well, because you recognize within yourself that maybe you have to give that person space, but at the same time, you have to protect yourself and you have to stand firm. There could be some kind of situation and a theme that comes up here. And that's what I'm seeing for many of you, is that you have to deal with the situation now head on. It's time. for you to support yourself and protect what it is that you're doing. The sun is transiting through your 8th house. So there is going to be a support in finances, in protecting yourself, in, committing and pivoting and making sure that what it is that you're doing has a level of trust and protection around it. These are the themes I'm seeing for many of you. At the very end of this transit, what I believe that we are coming out of, and this is going to be for you in general with finances and with friends and groups and social reputation, is where do you realize that tension builds up sometimes and then you don't actually deal with this tension with friends, with people who are, maybe being mean or saying things that are not fair, going up against something that could potentially hurt your financial backing or hurt something in the financial realm or hurt some kind of commitments that you do have, where the tension builds up so much that you don't address it, sooner next time. Recognizing it, not that you were avoiding any of it, but just recognizing when you actually have to step in, when you actually have to address these types of issues or challenges and face them a lot sooner, so that the tension doesn't build up, so that you don't get into this place where there could be some kind of a fear that comes up where you start to realize, oh, like a part of me could get really impacted by this, and the way in which I'm interacting with people, like opening up to this or not knowing, kind of feeling blindsided. These are the types of fears that could come up surrounding this subject. And so you'll be contemplating on that. And I think that that is an opportunity for you to understand how to keep yourself grounded during situations like this. We can't quite avoid this month not saying what's on our mind. There is sort of this opportunity that is going to come up. But at the very end of this Mars and Gemini transit in the 11th house, for many of you, this is going to be about becoming more objective and understanding where you will become more fair with yourself, but then also with other people, giving them space to go through what they go through, but then also identifying where you will not compromise on other people coming into your space, invading the space, and, saying stuff that is kind of going up against what it is that you're trying to do. So both of these will come up because it's Mars in Gemini. Of course, Mars in Gemini will be pretty much here until the end, almost the end of, March. On the 19th, Mars starts to move into Cancer. This is going to start to shift the energy for many of you. We are going to talk about that a little bit later and see what that means for you during this time. Overall, what do I believe that this month is going to be all about? Looking at your finances, looking at protecting yourself, looking at building financial backup. This is going to be a time to know yourself better in this area of your life. This is going to be a time of you getting this opportunity to get to know yourself even better and your intuition and your instincts, and knowing that any kind of setbacks that you have gone through, there is now new opportunities to take the setbacks, to have learned from these setbacks, and to understand what part about this you must accept now in order for you stay in clarity and continue to empower, because there are opportunities this month that will come up for you to renew your faith in the way in which you're committing, the way in which you're sharing yourself, how finances impact you psychologically, and making room for new ways to approach this, making room for you to become more kind of creative area, and to see that there's other ways for you to take a look at your finances and take a look at how you can protect yourself. These are the types of opportunities that I believe that you are going to be learning this month. You guys, that's a wrap on all of my Leo and Leo sun sign friends for March of 2023. I want to know how this month is unfolding for you guys. Let me know in the comment section below. I always appreciate the comments that you're leaving down there and letting me know how things are unfolding for you. I hope that you're going to have a fantastic month, and I'm going to see you back here in the next episode. Bye.